Mm. Everybody, tonight I'm going to do another commentary. It's going to be a few topics in life. So, here we go. Immigration. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, how bad could it be? It can get really bad. I mean, look what's happening in England and over in Germany and in Canada. Bringing all these people in to give them the entitlements they need. It's a disaster, you know? There's so much more that people could do, but all it is bringing immigrants. I know immigrants are a good thing, but bringing too much of them in can lead to these problems. Now we have a war to go overseas for once. Live a life of freedom and happiness. But it's not to be, because we tell people our plans because people want to know what you're up to. Also, it takes forever to get here because, you know, they don't want you to succeed. They want you to fail. Anyways, if anybody has got any ideas, you know, I would move on to the next topic, but I've got to finish this topic off first. Yeah, the immigrants, will not help the society. They don't want to work. They just wish they just do their own thing without trouble. And that's just it is, you know? It's the way it is. They cannot help themselves. They don't want help. They don't want to work. They expect the children not to work either. So, even there is a movement to get rid of them. And it's good, because they are total losers, suckers. They don't want to work. That's their problem. Now, oh yes. On YouTube, there's these incels. Now, an incel is someone who doesn't want to work, hides in their room, and just treats others like crap. Now, yes, there's the, Unreal Man, who has been roasting these people. I mean, these people are just so entitled. There is Hi in My Room, Daniel, Just James from Northern Ireland, Oreo Man from Georgia, US, and EDP from God knows where. On the behalf of the Unreal Man, I would say this. These people, they are retarded. What they want is women. They want to buy, they want to go overseas and do these stupid things. They probably never ask for consent. They just think, oh, I don't have to do it. But you have to have consent. I don't know why these guys have no girlfriends, no girls, because they treat you like shit. Especially Daniel Lord from Hiding in My Room. His ex-wife, came out and said that he had Asperger's and he treated her like shit. I'm not surprised. He went to Universal Studios in Japan, Osaka there with the wife, and the wife was enjoying it, but he didn't enjoy it. He thinks it was boring. What sort of people are they? Psychopaths. Now Daniel is back at his mother's house. He owes her money, which is not a good thing. I mean, Jesus. He makes me so sick, he sickens me. To be honest, I just wish he's just, he should get into big trouble with, loan shark, whatever. As for Just James, well, I think he really should get help a long time ago if his parents separated, because domestic violence, separation, all that can affect somebody growing up. I mean, he's working a minimum wage male job for £10.50. And he's complaining about life because he's not asking for a raise, he's not getting another job, he doesn't want to, he just wants to bitch about things. He's got no future, to be honest. He's just James is like, he's almost in his 40s almost. So what sort of idiot is he? Well, Oriman's no better than just James and hiding in my room. Oriman wanted to, claims he made $2 million on YouTube, which is bogus because there's no proof of that. Also, Oreo Man says that, in a video, says that once he get money, he'll be able to buy vagina, pussy, he'll be able to buy prostitution, he'll be able to go overseas to fuck with prostitutes. This guy's crazy. I mean, he's probably gonna get, he's probably gonna get some infections one day from girls because, he's not. Because, I hear he's a bit fat, isn't he? He's just ridiculous, he just thinks, oh, I can do whatever I want. No, you cannot do whatever you want. Don't go overseas and thinking the girls are gonna let you touch them. It's worse than Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's is a holic, bastard of a guy, just absolute sucker. Him and his brother in Romania, and all they do is they just do these stupid things to people. Especially the ladies. And as for EDP 445, he's not better than any of these people. He's just these people, except for Andrew Tate, came from families that work hard to provide comfortable living, comfortable lifestyle, and they've been giving these people everything they ever wanted without asking for it. Sometimes drugs and alcohol are involved. Sometimes some of those guys, their parents divorced it. The others, they got bullied in high school. I mean, what sort of psychos are they? They cannot be helped. I know they cannot be helped. It's a shame, I know. It's stupid. What's the... Ah, yes. What's happening in the US? Well, there's this actress called Rachel Zegler who is a woke actress. She's been hated for, making the worst movie of her career, Snow White. She made it as a feminist fairy tale sort of shit. And, she claims that the prince is a weird bloke. He's not weird, he's just trying to, Excuse me. I guess so. Rachel Zegler, you shouldn't be putting your political views into what you do, because it's just how it causes all these fights, all these different things. As for Rachel herself, she just called Donald Trump and his supporters a bunch of doomers. Wow. Ain't that funny? I mean, I'm not big into politics and all that other stuff. As for her, why am I being harsh of her? Because she makes me sick. She sickens me. All those people like her, especially those incels, they make me sick as well. Entitled lot. As for Rachel Zegler herself, little bitch was entitled to get bigger wage than what she was being meant to be paid. She was getting more money than the average actress would get. I mean, she's a Polish Colombian. Goodness sakes, some people are stupid. Even her herself, she's silly as well. She's an idiot. A couple of years ago, the US state of California has risen their wage from $7 to $15 per hour, which is not a good thing because it can reduce hours, can cause more job issues. I mean, according to the Unreal Man, the minimum wage is not designed for a lifetime. For a lifetime, what you call it? Guarantee. For whatever you call it, It's not designed for you to work on forever, If you work minimum wage in the United States for $7, then expect to be out in 5 months. Because, you might be looking for better work. And the people who are doing this, they feel entitled to get minimum wage. Especially all those people who, who are living on $2 an hour in the US, especially as immigrants. Very true. These immigrants are taking these poor paid jobs and they're living good. And as for these, we live in a world full of communist socialists who just believe that we're just putting the planet at risk. How many times should I tell them? If you want a clean world, use nuclear. Simple. They don't want to use nuclear because they feel entitled not to. I mean, look at Daniel from behind my room. He says that Japan's bullet trains came out in the 1950s. No, the first bullet train was 1964. And as for EDP 445, he says that in one of his videos that he's got his house paid off, car paid off. I mean, okay, but you know what? You probably got someone else's money that you probably own somebody money because, you're just doing these stupid things. These people cannot read, they can't count. They just think, oh, I can do whatever I want. Fuck that. You know what? One day, these people's lives are going to fall apart because they're not going to, put themselves together. They just take life as a joke. I don't take life as a joke. No one should. Especially, when Daniel Lord's mother, Cammy, passes away, he's going to have to learn the hard way. Also, his sister Sabrina is working in a computer company, and now she's a mama now. Fuck's sake, some people, they just don't care, They're absolute terrible people that live in this world. No joke.